Hey you guys, what's up? I'm Ashley from heavenathome.org, and this is the Heaven at Home podcast, where my goal is to encourage you in your personal growth journey while being open, honest, and owning my story. We have faith-based conversations and tackle a bunch of different tough topics. Check out the description to follow me and learn more. Remember, you are fully known and deeply loved. Let's do this. I did want to let you guys know that if you ever come across a podcast in a particular topic and you would really love more information about that, you can always go to heavenathome.org and you'll be able to see all the points written out. You'll get some extra tidbits here and there, and that could be a really great resource for you if you're looking into that. So today we're going to talk about how to be determined. And in a previous episode, I shared that I think one of my greatest strengths is being able to be resilient and persevere. And so I wanted to share some of my tips for you. If there's a goal you're trying to accomplish and you're feeling a little bit unmotivated, I think these tips will help inspire you. And these are coming from my own experience. I feel like it's going to be really beneficial. But if you guys have anything that you would like to add, or you have some feedback for me, I'm always happy to hear it on Instagram. So my first tip, if you're trying to be determined, if you're trying to be motivated, if you're trying to follow through, I would say my number one tip is to write your goals down. Actually write your goals down on a piece of paper, on a sticky note, in your planner, wherever, really. Honestly, just write them down. I don't have the statistic on hand, but I learned that you're more likely to actually follow through with your goal if you actually do write it down. I also want to say that it is super, super important to begin with the end in mind. And I feel like the best example that I can give about this is when I started college, because I really, really, really wanted to graduate. I loved college. I loved going to my classes. I actually really do have a passion for learning. And so it was easy to kind of get caught up in having fun. But at the end of the day, I had a goal that I wanted to see through, and I wanted to graduate. And there were a lot of obstacles, a lot of unpredictable things that happened the following 7 years. I feel like it's really important to start with a good foundation and begin with the end in mind. Like, so when you're starting your journey, when you're a freshman in college, when you're starting a new job, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in whatever area that looks like, start and kind of have the big picture. Keep your eyes on the prize. My next tip is to take it one day, 1 week, or 1 month at a time. Like 2020 was crazy, and I was in my senior year during 2020. So I was taking some last minute gen ed classes in the springtime. I took classes over the summer, also gen ed. And then in my final semester, I was student teaching. But I was required to student teach from home. So I was doing that at home with Ava. Keep in mind that student teaching is very much a learning experience as well as it is a teaching experience. So it was a lot to take in, and I would find myself getting very overwhelmed. And I did have a point where I was just like, you know what, you got to just make it through today, make it through this week. Look, you made it through this month. Just kind of having the mentality of like one step at a time, like it kind of helped to lessen the overwhelm by just focusing on what was right in front of me. Another tip is to break big goals down into smaller ones. So let's say I have, I'm going to use my blog as an example. Let's say I have a $3,000 month goal that I want to achieve. I would break that goal down into smaller sections. Like, okay, so how many page views do I need to have? Is that achievable? What page views am I getting now? So what can I expect to make next month? If my end goal is that I want to make $3,000 a month, what smaller step can I take toward that can make a difference within this coming month? So just breaking bigger goals down into like more chewable pieces, I feel like that kind of helps make it more practical and less abstract, because it's not just like this grand idea with no details. Breaking it down into smaller goals helps make it more achievable. And my next tip is to track your progress. While I was in college, we had this software system, I guess, within Canvas, or with Canvas, I don't know. It was called DegreeWorks, and I was able to see my grades. I was able to see the assignments that I completed. I was able to see my GPA, the classes that I took, the classes that I needed to take. And looking at that often helped me keep my head in the game. And I was like, wow, like I'm making it this far. Like I'm 50% through now. I'm 75% through, 80% through. It was very inspiring, and it really kept me going, especially for like the final push when I was juggling a lot of things at the same time. Keeping track of your progress is going to help you to also just take a step back for a moment and appreciate like how far you made it. I feel like it's really important to celebrate those little milestones along the way. Don't get so like focused on the end that you don't appreciate the journey, the middle. My next tip is going to be different in terms of what it looks like for every person, because every person is different. But try your best to avoid burnout. The more you can do to take care of your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical well-being, the better you are going to be for it. It's going to help you be more consistent with the things that you want to accomplish. So let's just do a quick recap of the tips really quick. Number 1, write your goals down. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. Number 3, take it one day at a time. Number 4, break big goals down into smaller goals. Number 5, keep track of your progress. Number 6, avoid burnout. Number 7, the 7th tip is to create a deadline for yourself. So you know how like bachelor's degrees have like a 4-year goal to graduate? It's kind of something similar to that. I feel like when you give yourself a time frame to accomplish it, it's going to make it more measurable. And I think it's going to help you focus on doing what you can today to work toward that goal. The 8th tip is to remind yourself of your values, your commitments, and your why. So this I really, really appreciate this tip, because when I've reached like my absolute last straw and like I have absolutely nothing left, this tip is the thing that really kind of gets me going in any area. So with school, with relationships, with responsibilities, obligations, all that stuff. When I was, at my like rock bottom point, I would remind myself about the things that I value, about the things that I want to achieve, about the reason why what I'm doing matters, why it's important. And in regards to any commitment, whether, it's at home, whether it's at school, whether it's on a professional basis, like when I commit, I really do commit. And I kind of get the feelings early on like whether or not I want to invest in something, and just reminding myself about the fact that it matters. Like what I'm doing is important, impactful. It's going to establish new patterns for me, for my family, for my future, all those things. Reminding yourself of your values might help you gain that momentum up again and help you be motivated to pursue what it is that you want to accomplish. The 9th tip, it looks like. The 9th tip is to take action. This is for the planners out there, so I'm including myself. I have a habit of over planning, and I'm sure there are other people like me out there. What you don't want to do is stay in the planning process forever. So take action. Try to come up with at least 5 things that you can do every day to succeed pretty much. Make sure that you don't get so caught up in planning that you forget to take action. Take action. The 10th tip is to focus on yourself. I actually ended up getting my bachelor's degree after 7 years. It took me 7 years to get my bachelor's. But you know what? In that time, I got married, I relocated, I was working part-time, I was working full-time, I was getting my first apartment, I was getting a house, I had a baby. Like, there was a lot of life happening within that 7-year period. And I could easily compare myself to someone else who was able to graduate in 4 and is now studying for their master's. But why would I do that? Just focus on yourself, focus on your progress, your goals, your future, your life. Don't get stuck like saying that it should have looked like this or anything like that. I feel like it's going to keep you more motivated, because if, like, think about it. If I was at year 5 or 6 and I was like, man, I should have graduated already, it's probably going to take me forever. It's probably not even worth it. Like, it's already entertaining a negative train of thought. So yeah, when it comes to your goals, focus on you. My 11th tip, I'm going to count it as a bonus tip because it's kind of like a planning, doing kind of thing, but basically prioritize. Set aside your big rocks and your small rocks, the things that need to be done now, the things that can wait to be done later. And I feel like it's just a matter of perspective, because I know, at least for me, I do plan often, and sometimes laying out all the things that I have to do, I'm like, man, like, where do I start? Like, this is all too much. Prioritizing helps me to focus and like narrow my view to like the top 1, top 2, top 3 things that I can do. So I hope that you guys found those tips helpful for you. Remember that you can always go to heavenathome.org to get more detailed information and maybe even some bonus content. Thank you guys so much for listening. Feel free to DM me to send me your feedback. Check out the description below to follow me on social media. This podcast is listener supported. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, you are fully known and deeply loved. I'll see you in the next one.